Okay, so now after we're all warm again, let's go back to our program. So now we have the final presentation of the workshop part, and that's brand development. That was led by Anna here. So do you want to guide us through our group work? Great, thanks.
Please all come here.
Where is our group?
Yes. I ask my group, please come here to present the results. All of you, everyone who worked, please, all. I really mean it. So the very last handout is fine. Otherwise I will show it. So, today's workshop, what we did, we tried to go in detail to what is brand identity for every brand. All these great participants presented.
You don't need to hide behind the screen.
You don't need to hide. So, and we worked out also four areas. First is the brand identity on an example of the Matryoshka model. The first was we tried to see the whole situation about ourselves from the point of view of a customer and define his emotional and functional needs. Then we made everyone made his own structure on the according to the model. What is content structure he could provide, and then we went to the first topic was the content engagement. And I will just to show the structure. So everyone made the same. And maybe first everybody should decide its superpower with these three questions. What is our main strength? What can we be proud of as a brand? And which particular thing do we do better than others? The second was the core values. So they should choose one or three values from it, from the point, and to define how do they implement their core values in the daily work. Then they should create a message. This is just an example. We seriously love something. We know everything, sorry about the word, everything about something. And how do our customers provide profit from it? Then archetype story. We should look, everybody could decide which archetype from the 12 suits best to the brand, to the organization, and how is it supported by the visual identity, visual things. And the second was, again, customer's perspective, defining functional and emotional needs. Give me a second. So it was like, this was the handout for Matryoshka model. This was for customer's perspective. So one service, and then which functional and which emotional need does it fulfill. Then content types. Yeah. So what can we do in case of to entertain people, to give them some knowledge, to build a relationship with him, to help him, and which product information we should provide, we can provide. And now the last one is content engagement. Another 10 pieces of content which we really can create. First is what people do, what people love and hate about your industry. We found very interesting things. Then which questions can we answer of customers? Which people what people can we portray? To what can we inspire? To do what? What fun facts do we have in our business? Actually, what are internal and professional jokes? How far can we go in order to be honest and transparent and authentical? What can we explain? What do our customers don't understand about us? Which kind of appreciation do they need? Which dynamic in our offices, in our work can we show? Which inclusive insights can we provide with them? What is happening behind the curtains, what we are not afraid to share with other people, to show that we are the same people as citizens. Yes, and the last, what I hope everyone would tell now, these are 3 final questions for an action plan. So based on these 4 areas we covered. Everyone worked out what area from these 4 do you need to focus on first. Second, why is it important for you? And third point is what is your next step in this field? Welcome.
I think it will be enough for me. So, what do you need to focus on first? My focus is building trust. So why this is important for me? For customers, it is increasing efficiency of functional needs, and for other side, fulfilling emotional needs. So for organization, it provides rising the quality of services, and building trust, also providing engagement with the community. Our steps will be more open, provide different content on social media. Examples could be inspiration to do something, good examples, funny stories from inside, explanation as infographics, appreciations, some more executive insights, and some dynamics from our organization. And also, I hope we shall change some regulations.
Big step, I think, no? Thank you. Who wants to be the next one? The floor is yours.
Okay, what areas do you need to focus on first? I thought that there were several, but one was to get more engagement for different kind of topics. Also these kind of topics which are not very, which could be a bit boring, but on the same time these are important topics. How to reach the audience was one focus. And there was quite many this content engagement ideas. And the next step is to look once again through all the content ideas and to choose the best way to get to the audience. So,
yep.
Shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talking about tourism, the tourists' needs are quite well indicated, and that is the next step would be the development of content engagement. We should concentrate into providing information and communication, indicate the emotional needs of tourists, so that they would want to come and visit the city. And I saw that the information is that is being sent to people is very much in the same way, and it is quite monotonic, and we should fill the lack of fun, and the next step would be indicate what is the meaning of fun for tourists. It could be funny statistics or funny moments that happen in the city, and activate people and let them share the information about their experiences, and make the portal more interactive, including the experiences of tourists.
So, hello everyone. The first question was, what area do you need to focus on first? So, since I come from city government and I work on field of communication, I thought that's, of course, people I work with, and people who in a city government working for the people. So, and why is this area important for you? In our case, sometimes, or quite often though, civil servants are not that highly loved by the people. So we still are human beings after all, and maybe to show the citizens who we are, that we are really normal people, and we have quite good ideas what comes up when we make some decisions, to just show us. And what is your next step? I thought it's maybe too much to hope, but I still think that I should try to find from each field, since we have different fields in the city government, to find a person who could be a spokesperson. Normally we have the spokesperson, a PR officer. So one face, one, and she or he knows for everything about everything. So it's just not really, the people maybe don't think that's, yeah, I cannot trust. But if a person from a certain field says something, then they might trust us more, and then they also get to know people who are working in the city government more and more. So hopefully it will work. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I have to share my colleagues' ideas a bit, but in Estonia, as we have new local governments after reform, for us and for me in Elva, the most important thing is to build trust in this new municipality, to engage the people in different regions in our municipality. And this is the most important task also for us. And as it was said before, people don't know who are working in public sector, and we need to bring it to make it a bit more sexier field, also for new employees or also for our inhabitants. So this is one of our goals. And also we in Elva try to interact more with people through different surveys to get to know how they are satisfied with the services that we are offering them. So this kind of stuff that are already in our list. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I come from city of Vaasa in Finland, and I thought that what we should focus on first is matching the customers or the inhabitants' needs with our services. And why I think it is important is because I'm not sure that we know good enough what people of Vaasa want and what they need. Or, however, we can always do better and find out better what kind of services they need, what makes their lives better. And especially, I think we are better knowing what functional needs they have, but to reach their emotional needs. And with that also connect better on the social media and other platforms. And the next step is interacting with people more in social media, but also face-to-face in cafes and other places where people already have. And it's important that we make people more involved in decision-making before the decision is made, so that they can feel that it matters what they think. It matters for us who work, that what they think and what their needs are. And they can feel that they can influence it, that we are making the city of Vaasa together. It's not something that comes from the organization, but it comes from the people, and we do it together. And then also it's important that afterwards they've been involved, that they hear the results and why some decision was made and what how the people got to influence on it. Okay.
Thank you very much.
As the tourist destination Rostock and Warnemünde, we always look at our customers, and we actually have quite loyal customers who keep coming back year after year. But it also means that now they're getting older. It's couples that come here for long weekends, and it's older people that come here for historic sailing boat events. And now we are shifting our attention again to who can our future customers be. So we're looking at the younger people, we're looking at international audiences, and there's a lot happening already in the city. Like there's a big surfer scene with young people, there's events at the beach, there's festivals, and there's youth hostels being built. For us, it's now the need to really go back, like what do these customers want? How do we talk to them? How do we create the material? How do we speak to them in their language? And how do we align our whole organization to cater to this new and growing future customer base?
Thank you very much. So as you see, we covered 4 areas, and everyone could develop its own individual action plan. And this is how I think if how can I see if a workshop was successful or less successful. In my opinion, they had now discovered what is the focus, what should they focus on, what maybe should be improved, and what is the first step to do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna and the whole group. Do we have any questions from the audience who were in a different group? Here, Alexandra first.
Having a lot of questions today. Have you spoken about the mistakes and problems of the brand development of the city? Maybe you can talk about it. So Rostock also know, do we have problems?
Did you hear the question?
No, problems in brand development in your city. So if I would just know, maybe we have similar problems. I won't tell you if they have them, but I just want to know for myself. I will share it with Francisca later.
Who wants to go first?
Brand development problems in your city. No problems.
City as a brand, which problems do you have? Probably you indicated already that sometimes government is not really loved.
Yeah, and also we have to find the right target group. Because if you brand something, it's so much easier if you focus on something. But
Hello, everyone. In the city government, you have to, if you're talking about marketing, then quite often it's like you have to find a target group, but it's in a city government, it's quite hard to find the right, it's not hard to find, but it's the target group is so wide because you have each kind of cities and age groups, genders, so and you just have to focus for one target group, then the other ones feel left behind. So it's just the struggle, and that's the hardest thing I think in our job, to let somebody feel like, you know what, we don't care about you, but we care about the youngsters, and the old people just you can be. But so that's the hard one, the hard part. But life is hard, but fun.
Anyone else? I don't know if it's a problem right now, but I thought we have so many different brands. For example, in Vaasa at least, we are branding the Visit Vaasa for the tourists, then we have City of Vaasa, and then there's the Vaasa region. And quite recently we decided everybody has their own logos and own slogans and brands. So we decided to put these 3 together to be stronger, because even though there are some different target groups, but still we have the same goals. And I think that we are stronger together, and it's more giving for us to work together and plan the marketing campaigns together under the same brand. Yes, I could also add something to this. It's a shame city of Pori is not here. Pori is also a UBC city, and They were visiting Turku and City of Turku Communications and Marketing the other day, and they told about their very good campaign and renewal that they have done with their brand. And the way that they did it was that they actually took the citizens in. They just didn't say that we will take you in, or made already the plans and then said, oh, do you have an opinion about this brand? But they actually started from the beginning with the citizens of Pori, asking them what is being a citizen of Pori like? How does it feel like? How does it taste like? They, for example, have launched now Eau de Pori, which is like a perfume of Pori, which is a funny example of how you can sort of relate to this subject. But the point is that they didn't just invent something and then say, okay, what do you think about this? But they did it together with the citizens of Pori. So what happened was that the Pori people have really taken into this brand as their own. They feel it as something at what they are. It's not something that has just been put on them as a label from the city officials, but they feel like, yes, this is the essence of Pori, and it's really working well. So if you have a chance, then talk to Pori people at some other occasion and ask how they did it. Anybody else something about brand experiences? I guess the question was about challenges in brand making, but the challenge is in my mind that you can always invent brands, but people have to feel them and feel them as their own. And if they don't, then it's just a staple, a label.
May I add something very short? But brand development is a process that never stops, no? So if you start developing, the show must go on. So next step and next step and next step. And this is what I really, maybe the last thing I want to encourage you to do.
Any other questions or comments on brand development?
I'm sorry for asking questions. Yeah, we spoke in our group. Rostock has no really social media. And the problem is, for example, at Facebook, there should be a person who is always managing this Facebook or Instagram, and they have really strong rules on working times. So, for example, Franziska is the head of the anniversary office, and she cannot push anybody to work night hours or work on, yeah, you can ask, but you cannot push according to the law, or ask Sundays and Saturdays. And if you have a Facebook, you need somebody who is working on it 24/7. No? Yes, then tell us how to do it.
At City of Kotka, we have 2 people in communications, and we have Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and Instagram, and yeah, and we update Facebook almost daily, and Instagram weekly. Twitter, I should update more, and then LinkedIn is more for recruitment at the moment, just because resources. But then for Facebook, I mean, we rarely, if ever, get any comments that would require moderation, which I think is the one thing. I mean, if it would be something, yeah, cities don't tend to evoke that kind of feelings that would then trigger bad reactions, which would require constant monitoring. So it's fine. And then that you can time your posts. I would thoroughly recommend looking at your statistics and as to when there's people on the page, and then time your postings to that time. I mean, I don't want to work during the weekends and evenings either, so I just do that during office hours and then time it.
Yes, social media work is strategical work.
I just wanted to ask, is it really enough, like the frequency you just said, like daily, almost daily Facebook and Instagram once a week? Because for us, I think we do at least 2 posts a day. We try to keep it like that, not much, not more. And in Instagram also every day with everything, I think we do it also in Instagram. Because as you have to be frequent. You have to keep it up because people are waiting for it. And what comes to comments, our pages are really, we have nasty comments there, and you have to answer them to avoid some wicked information or twisted information to spread. And we do it, like, I think our communication manager and those people who are involved in managing this, we don't count hours at all. We do it all the time, just to keep it up. No.
For example, tourism is at a separate unit. So we've outsourced tourism to sort of a development agency. So for example, tourism, they post different content and on different frequency, which is much more often. But the city, which is in charge of education, infrastructure, and that kind of things, I don't think the people require or wish for more frequent comments. And we've had only one instance of, or maybe two instances of nasty comments, and one was relating to a sort of a crisis communications thing, which had us on alert anyway. And then obviously I, as the communications manager, am constantly, looking at it, and if there's anything that would require attention, I'm there. But so far, it's not something. But I would say, if we weren't there, we would definitely be missed. So. We have sort of subgroups by different departments. We don't monitor them ourselves. It's then up to the subgroups, but they're so small that then it's then also outsourced to them. But then obviously there are lots of not related to the city, but are local groups which we have no control over, and we don't even try to go there to monitor. To edit.
Okay, anybody else have comments about this? Yeah.
You definitely, just in case of crisis communication, just need to know who will do it, who will do this, manage, and how to moderate it. So just your internal guidelines. But my question back is, which topic do you expect to be that critical, that so many negative comments would come? So about what you would like to post and expect that people will not like it or react it in a better way?
I see it like you, but the city politics is, we're afraid of the comments on refugee politics. That they say, again, you post something about a nice international event, and some really smart persons makes a comment about the refugee politics of the city, for example, or name concrete person from the city government who did a mistake. All the people, but it shouldn't be on Facebook. And yeah, the problem is we thought somebody needs to moderate it all the time, what's not possible here. And maybe Franziska can talk a little bit more, because we have just 3 departments who have Facebook: the anniversary office, the international relations office, and library, I said. International relations office, my office, we share it with the European Integration Centrum, so like they are hosts. And we just post our content. It belongs to us both, but let's say officially it belongs to them. We just post our content. Articles about different international events, articles about our work, articles about our twinning cities, something interesting happening in Szczecin, Turku, and so on. We post for the citizens of Rostock who are interested in the international events or international politics. And also for the city, it's mostly for the citizens of Rostock, so it's in German. And for those who are interested maybe in traveling, because sometimes we write something about the partner cities who are abroad, especially in the Baltic Sea region that's not far away, about some interesting event, so the people can visit it. So we normally don't have comments at all. in the events, we have a web page. It's hard to say we know how many people took a look, but we can say who exactly it was, which group, age, nationality, student, education. We cannot say it. And Facebook, they mostly post the same article. If you're interested in the article, this and that, take a look on the homepage of Rostock International, the name of the webpage. But Franziska can tell more because they are event agency, and this is like the hot topic in Rostock, the birthday.
Okay, so we have a Personalrat. I don't know what the name is in German. And the fear is that employees of my office will be attacked by name with a comment on Facebook. Well, it's because you cannot say what kind of messages people leave. And there is a policy in Rostock where employees are protected and should feel protected. So we're not using the name. I have a Facebook page, and the reason why I have it is because I didn't know that I am supposed to ask somebody for it. So that's why I have it. So now they accept that I have it, but they made me shut off the comment function. So it's not possible to leave bad comments. What I can still do, and which is really helping, I am advertising for events, which is one function you can do on Facebook. So that's why it really helps me. But the whole topic in general is a big thing in this Verwaltung, administration, because the rules in Germany, they are not quite clear. It's like the security of data, what we were mentioning, the times of work. This is just one part. Because once you get a bad comment, you should be able to react right away. So it doesn't get bigger, or, well, you know.
Could you give an example maybe for one?
No, there's no such example, and that's why this administration of Rostock is proud that they don't have an example, because they don't have.
What could be, which post about which particular topic could release a bad comment? What might it be?
For example,
For politics, whatever.
for example, why they're spending that much money. This was a big thing. The people in their normal life don't understand that such events that Franziska is making costs. And they are asking, they want to have a big party with a lot of events for youngsters, for different groups. And when the events are there, the people are asking, where is the money? And why you spend so much?
And of course I can answer those questions, but then the question is again, is it smart to do it over Facebook, over this tool, to explain yourself? I mean, I explain myself a lot in front of the government of this city, right? So whenever there are questions coming up in this room, they are discussing whatever paper I'm delivering, but on Facebook, to get into an argument, to explain yourself, is still nothing that is very common here in Rostock. I'm not saying that I think it's good. I'm just telling you those are the rules and I have to kind of obey.
How about just to prepare maybe some things which you can, how really to prepare in advance possible replies to such critical comments? To explain them really, how does the city profit from international connections? What is the profit for one single citizen of Rostock, that so many international people come and discussing? What does it mean for every single citizen to have that his city has such a big cooperations? Just really, if there is need to explain, so it's need to explain.
Well, we don't know if there's need to explain. It's just something that the administration is afraid of, that it might happen.
What's the problem to explain? There is nothing, it is only good, some things. Tell them, of course it's good for you. Yes, you spend money, and your personal profit is this, and this.
Yeah, you don't understand. Franziska understands what you are talking about, but the law is the law.
Exactly. So that's why in this administration, Facebook and other social media accounts are not allowed yet.
No, we're speaking just about Rostock.
Okay, but I mean, isn't the law the same?
No, it's a city law. It's a city guidelines, let's say. Maybe all of us is now
The press office right now is, but has been for 8 months now, I guess, after my page came up and had a little bit of trouble, are working on guidelines, how to be able to implement Facebook or other social media channels. But all this is taking very long, and until it's finished, my party, sorry, it's not a party, but the Jubilee will be over. So that's why I'm glad I can at least leave my Facebook page online. If you want to visit, it's Rostock 800 600. So you can check it out.
I can agree with you that it is a long process in many city governments. It was the same in the city of Turku, where I come from. So it took a while until the city officials sort of recognized the value of social media. And it took some courage also and a lot of convincing that this is something that we need to do and this is something that we need to be really involved in. But after they saw the results, so as in results and as Turku being the social media capital of Finland with 42,000 followers in Facebook, so after they saw those figures, they thought that this is really a good thing. So it's basically about proving, like time after time again, with figures, different kind of figures, like why we need to be here, what is it producing, and I think that works best with the decision makers, at least, yeah, in Turku. So and one positive note about the whole Turku Facebook and all social media, but especially Facebook, is that it's created or being created into a community. So it's not only led by us from up to bottomwards, but City of Turku people have taken it into their community, into their hearts as being our Turku page, and they want to share their pictures and photos and ask questions, and they say, oh, thank you so much for your feedback, and it's really interactive and positive, and we don't really get much negative comments at all, actually. So, but it's a process, so it takes a while, and it really needs a lot of strategic planning, and it needs somebody who does the planning and makes rules, like what are we posting, when are we posting, what type of content. For example, we don't really post much in Facebook about some very boring government or city events. We save that for Twitter, because then we would lose, again, followers, because our followers don't want to see that kind of content. They want to have the feeling of the community. So it's about maybe doing the homework and then seeing what works, in what times, what target groups, and then keeping up with the work. So that's just comment from Turku's side. Anybody else still? Thank you for the comment. If there's no more comments on this, then if you may, I could try to make some wrapping up, and I'm really hoping for your comments to my wrapping up as well as we go. And I thought that I would use this board, if it works both ways, I guess. Alexandra? So, for the past 2 days, we've been talking about culture, business. I hope you can see something. And brand development. And yesterday we had the overall talks and speeches and so on, and today we got a little more deeper into the subject with the workshops. And I've listed some words that in my mind describe quite well the common themes that we've had in these, in a way, quite different subjects, but in a way not. So first, that I think would be image or images. Communications and marketing nowadays is about images. Second, narratives. So people want to hear stories and people want to tell their own stories in social media, for example, which is mostly the best example about telling your own stories and having them spread worldwide. Third one is humanizing. And with humanizing, I don't mean humanoids. I mean people talking to people, not organizations talking to people. But people, for example, in the city of Turku Facebook, Irene talking to the person who is talking to me via Facebook. So we are recognizable. Or for example, in UBC Facebook, I can write my reply as Irene, although it comes from the UBC account. But it's me who's replying to that person. So we're talking people to people, not from an organization. And the next one is, I would say, communities. People want to belong somewhere. People want to be part of something, be part of in making that something, be it a brand or be it a social media place or page. And we all finish up with the brand. Which I think Anna said a very good definition, that it's what people talk about us when we are not listening. I always myself thought something that I learned maybe from some old book from an old course in communications and marketing, that brand is a message. But I think that's much more accurate. The brand is what we are, what people talk about us when we're not listening. And I think, well, probably the thing that has come up the most during these couple of days that sort of captures these all is social media. So, do we like it or not? Social media is huge, and we are all part of it, and it's been part of all the discussions we've had today about culture, about business, about brand development. So these are my impressions, these are my ideas about what we have been doing here, what we've been discussing, and where it comes down to, and I would really like to hear also your comments and questions maybe to each other or on the topics. Has everything been said and done?
That's not possible.
No, I just mean I think it's really fine what we could work today on, and yeah, all these three development pillars. I just want to mention that really development is something that never stops. If it's a culture, if it's a brand, or if it's a business. So just go on. Sure.
Anybody else has any questions or comments or something to share still? No. In that case, thank you very much. We are wrapping up this 2-day seminar, and it's been a real pleasure having you all here and discussing with you and being with you, discussing all these interesting topics, and I hope we can do this again. Not probably in the spring, but in Kaunas, in the next UBC General Conference, where we're going to have the next seminar. And hopefully in the spring, we're going to have some webinar as well on the topic of probably your choosing. So I might send you an email or survey or something, not too boring, and ask what you would like to hear about in an UBC webinar in the spring. And I really hope you will also come to Kaunas then for the UBC General Conference, especially if you haven't been there before, because it's an experience. So from UBC's part, thank you so much, and I'm handing over to Alexandra. And one more time, thank you for the City of Rostock for hosting us so graciously and lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome, and I want to also say thank you from the side of the City of Rostock. It was really nice to have you here. I'm a little bit sorry it's cold, but first I ask you kindly come with us, and we can also have a little bit conversation now during the coffee and a cake. And please raise your hand if you are joining today us for the Christmas market. You don't? Hila?
No, sorry, I
need to work. Oh, no. I would excuse you for another reason, but work, I don't think so. Okay, sorry, I couldn't count. Please raise again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Yeah, thank you again. Please enjoy the coffee and cake, and see you today in the evening. We meet at 5:45 downstairs in the City Hall, where we met for the registration and yesterday for the evening event. So see you at 5:45 today, and please wear something warm. Yeah, because it's November and we're in the north. Thank you again. Let's take a coffee.